Ladies and gentlemen, it's such a privilege and a pleasure to have some of real estate's royalty here in Australia at Arec 2013. Adrian Bo, you run an incredible business with McGrath and Coogee, and you've got a number of agents that look up to you. Tell us a little bit about your business at a prospecting level, about what you're specifically doing. You're trying to make 100 calls a day. Tell us a little bit about that.
Josh, as you know, I was very fortunate enough from day one to identify that any person I met that remotely owned a piece of real estate, I included them in a database, but not only included them, but nurtured them. And for me, the formula is very simple. It's 2 to 6 hours of prospecting on a daily and disciplined basis, and also providing information, high quality information to those prospects also every 30 days.
Bowie, you run an incredible team as well. Can you talk to us just a little bit about your team structure?
Sure. In my opinion, the ideal team structure is my job description being the listing agent, the forensic attention to detail operations manager, if you like, the head negotiator, and also the vendor manager. Then I have 2 people under me. One is a professional administration and marketing PA, and the second person is a sales support, in that assisting with callbacks, assisting in buyer negotiations, assisting in buyer nurturing, so everything in that space. To me, that's the ideal model, and many successful agents replicate that.
Adrian, in terms of the quality of assistants that come on board, do you sort of hire younger people that are growing through the industry, or do you try to go for people a little bit more mature? And what do you sort of pay them? Is there a bit of an indication there?
It's an excellent question. I think the pitfall most of our industry tends to fall in is they meet a great person and then try and produce a role for that person. You need to adopt a very proactive approach and provide an itemised list of exactly what that job description is and exactly what that person's going to look like, both physically and metaphorically, if you will, and then find a person to suit that role. Okay, I think that's the most important point. The other issue is when to put someone on, and this is also a pitfall in real estate. And I'm a big advocate of the moment you want to put someone on in is the time you decide that you're going to be in the industry for the rest of your life. Okay, not when you're going to do 5 or 6 deals a month, or not when you're going to write a certain amount of GCI per month. Once again, it's the chicken or the egg. It's adopting a proactive approach, because it's physically impossible to offer incredible service and sell more than 4 properties per month on your own. It's a physical impossibility. So if you're wanting to sell more than 4 properties a month and still offer excellent service, you need to adopt that proactive approach and say, right, I'm going to be selling real estate for the rest of my working career. I need a team of great people around me to help me do that.
Adrian, I know your marketplace very well, and it's very competitive with some incredibly tenacious agents. Obviously, there's fairly competitive in relation to fees. How do you handle that conversation?
For me, Josh, I feel that scripts and dialogues are almost irrelevant if you have a good story to tell. And for me, every listing appointment I attend, I have a laminated, nice quality folder of a brochure of every property I've sold. So for me, every time I pull out one of those brochures, it's a trigger point for a story. The best agents I know are the best storytellers. So every brochure has a story around it, around where I met that client, how many buyers looked at it, what marketing campaign it consisted of, where the buyer eventually saw the property from, what was the medium of marketing, how much over the expectations did the property sell, what the reserve was, how many buyers came through. So scripts and dialogues are almost academic if you have a story and a good story to tell. And if you can sell your own services and your brand and you believe in it and you have confidence in it, then, as I said, that's probably the best evidence you require.
Adrian Bo, I know that inside of your business, you're also helping a number of young agents to also grow up in your role in being a principal. And recently I saw, I think on Facebook, some posts that you'd tagged them in to say that you're incredibly proud of some new listings and also some sales results. How are you doing that to try to help the guys to grow inside of the team?
It's a good question, Josh. I mean, first and foremost, they need to be the humble hero. Unfortunately, our industry is epidemic with ego, and from day one, if you enter the industry and leave the ego at the door and exude humility in front of every client you meet, in front of every buyer you meet, in front of every negotiation that you conduct, then the rest of your career will be a lot easier. So that's the first thing. Second thing is have a database, but nurture it. And the third thing is become an expert and go pro, as Phil Harris said. Become a specialist, because if someone's unwell, they don't want to go to a GP, they want to go to a specialist. It costs a little bit more, takes a little bit more time to go and see them. So you need to position yourself as that specialist, because they might pay a little bit of a premium and they might take a little bit longer, but you have the ability to make as much money or more as people in other arenas. So we need to be the specialist in our arena, being real estate.
Adrian Bo, for you, what's your number one tip from a productivity point of view?
Number one tip, firstly, as was mentioned, is differentiate motivation versus discipline. Okay, it's very easy to be motivated when everyone walks out of this room this afternoon at 4 o'clock. That they will be motivated for 48 hours, but the discipline, as we discussed, is doing everything that Tracy talked about, Phil talked about, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis. And it's not rocket science. We ain't curing cancer. It's writing those thank you cards. It's making those calls. It's using people's names when you meet them. It's looking them in the eye every time you're in a negotiation. It's having sensible, frank, mature conversations around what someone's property's worth. It's being honest with buyers around how much interest there is on the property. So it's a hybrid of all these simple and almost basic functions that you do on a daily and disciplined basis. That will indirectly create productivity.
Thank you so much to all of you for not only being incredible role models. I know that a lot of you give a lot of your time to other people inside of the industry, and congratulations on your success. Thanks, guys.